Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on weird and true mysterious stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Case file number 1620, written by Special-Stage-OnEdge. When the sky ripped open. This actually did happen. This is not fiction. I still find myself reluctant to tell what I saw. It is something that I have never told a stranger. And I have never heard of anyone else who has experienced anything close, and it is nonsensical. The incident happened on a clear summer day in Northern California in the late 90s, not far from Travis Air Force Base. A friend of mine wanted to see some car rims that another friend was selling. He lived one street away, so I went with my friend. There was a group of guys talking about the rims. Since I wasn't interested in the haggling, I walked to the edge of the driveway to wait. Another guy who I was acquainted with from the group walked over with me. We were looking at a small prop plane that was flying several miles away. There wasn't a cloud in the sky when a part of the sky started to glitch and warp like it was shorting out. It was massive in size. From the center of the glitch, a cloud-like structure started to form from nothing. It began to swirl horizontally with the bottom facing us. It started to grow in size like a sideways tornado. It grew larger and larger. We both looked at each other, and he said, "What the hell is happening?" It started to feel out of place. Nothing was registering that this could happen. My known reality was being shattered. We were transfixed by it. As we kept watching, another part of the sky began to glitch to the upper right a lot further away. It looked like a huge piece of the fabric of space was trying to rip open right in front of us. A long vertical line materialized. In an instant, it was open. It was massive in size. It looked like a parallel universe had been opened. You could see the edge of this world and the difference past the opening, but I can't describe it. There was a huge void on the other side. We were peering past the curtain. It was as if looking into another dimension. This is where it doesn't make sense, like any of the others. A huge battleship slowly appeared in the void on the other side of the tear, as if uncloaking. It was floating in nothing. It was larger than any ship on Earth, but looked man-made. The ship had more levels than any ship I've seen, turrets and weapons. It was gray with no markings whatsoever. It looked like a ghost ship, something the Navy might have built, but couldn't. I was able to look at the different areas of the ship. I didn't see any signs of life. It hovered there for what seemed like 10 minutes. I got the feeling we weren't supposed to see this. Then the opening slammed shut in an instant. Everything was back to normal. The sky returned as it was before, as if nothing ever happened. I looked at my friend and said, "Did that just happen?" He nodded his head, yes. He was so freaked out, as I was. He then had to leave with his friends. I kept wondering what to do now. How do I process this? Who can I tell? What difference would it make? Would anyone believe me? Several days later, I wanted to talk to him about it, and he said, "Nope, I don't want to talk about it. We have never discussed it to this day." It left me questioning my reality. It happened, and I don't know what happened. Many people have seen flying objects, but not this. It has left me perplexed and alone. I've always wondered if that prop plane saw it. Nothing was ever reported. More people should have seen it. Was it some type of Philadelphia experiment? The ship USS Eldridge looks nothing like what I saw. What's the closest explanation that I can come up with? Teleportation experiment that went wrong? It didn't look like any type of alien ship, and it also didn't look like anything humans could build. I don't think I will ever know what it was. I'm no expert on these types of experiences. Does anyone have any idea what it might have been? Has anyone else heard or seen anything similar? Case also file 1620, when the sky ripped open. The Philadelphia experiment is so interesting because of the position that the person who promulgated it, Carl Allen, if I recall, he was a merchant mariner. It's not a nothing position, right? Though a lot of people have tried to debunk his claims, and even Carl Allen himself later on said that it was mostly a hoax. Thing is, if this really happened, and the government didn't want it to be accepted as fact, well, there are ways to compel a later recanting. So, I don't know. Maybe it was all a hoax, a prank at large. Possible. Or maybe the government just wanted it quieted, and the whole thing to go away. Either way, without having been there ourselves, we can't know if this was some invisibility test, teleportation, whatever it may be, or just a prank. So we'll never know what happened on the USS Eldridge, but we have so many accounts of stories similar to this, where things appear in the sky, anomalies in the sky or on the ground, space-time portals. They're all over the place and they happen all the time. There's enough accounts to me that even if one story from the past wasn't true or validated, that's okay. There's enough now that, are they all fake? I don't think so. That would be weird. And given how you describe this, remember, space-time portals, anomalies, the time interval is there. Can be a mixture of both space and time. What you describe the ship as, not being alien, but also not really what we could build now, so a ship from the future. That makes sense to me, and maybe it was even a spaceship, which would explain how it was flying, because space-time portals don't impart any kind of anti-gravity effect as far as we know. You just pop out to a different location in space and time, and normal physics apply then. So in that case, yeah, it must have been a spaceship, maybe in construction, but still had the anti-gravity or whatever propulsion system it uses intact and functioning. Case file number 1621, written by Adventurous Leg 7471, The Dancing Streetlights. I lived on a street, and about 80 meters from me, a very old Church of England. It's in the Domesday Book, and I was looking out the front window, and in front of the entrance to the church was a streetlight that had an orange glow, and it was surrounded by a big oak tree. Lovely place. But what happened was, I saw this streetlight move. It moved so much that it hit some branches, and the tree branches was waffling about, and the whole tree canopy moved. The pole moved that much that it looked like it had been toppled and pushed over. It was that dramatic. I shouted to Mum, "Mum, some naughty kids are pushing the streetlight over." I saw all the pole and the top of the streetlight move in its arc to nearly the floor, then straight back up and again to the same place. Granted, I couldn't see the ground level as there was a hedge, a thick enough hedge that you couldn't see if anyone was there or not. But naughty kids pushing it over was the only likely conclusion. So I went to get my shoes on, and we went to take a look at what damage these naughty kids had done. Naughty bloody kids, we was saying as we walked. We walked the 80 meters or so to the streetlight. We get there, and there's no sign of any damage. The streetlight was firmly cemented into the ground. No sign of any disturbance around the base. We even tried to wobble and push it ourselves, and it wouldn't even wobble in the slightest. It was solid. There's no chance kids or an adult could have moved it. It still haunts me to this day. I know what we saw. Did you know I have a Patreon? Go and check it out if you want even more content. A link is in the description. Now onto the notes. Case notes for file 1621, The Dancing Streetlights. It's not the spoon that bends, but you. I just love that line. In this case, it's not the pole that bends with a cement foundation, it's you, the person observing it. Everything that's happening is all inputs into your brain by a computer, not real. So that principle taken at large. And is that indeed the simplest explanation? The cement pole never moved, it bent because your mind saw it that way. Maybe influenced by something else, someone else, but the reality as we experience it isn't concrete, unlike the pole. Now time for the quote of the day. The word politics is derived from the word poly, meaning many, and the word ticks, meaning blood-sucking parasites. Larry Hardman. Yeah, I don't have to add too much to this one. Many ticks indeed. I guess at this point it's more like a vampire. The only question is, how the hell do we get it off our necks? Big question. Like the video, subscribe, hit the bell. Kinetic Symphony signing off.